Hi, welcome to this video that I hope you won't treat like a video and treat it more like a podcast because I was just too lazy to set up the whole filming setup, which is a lot of work, and I just couldn't wait. I just wanted to talk about it because I came across a tweet which is the inspiration behind this video, and I just want to talk about it, so let's get into it. As we all know, over the last few years, especially with TikTok, a lot of things have lost meaning, a lot of words get thrown around. And not to be like meaning police or whatever, but if a word has a deep meaning and it has a lot of weight and you do not treat it as such, then it's just, I feel like, a form of disrespect. Before I get into this video, I just want to say this is my point of view. This is what I think. So while there may not be a guide, and while I may not be Dalai Lama and, the freaking, I don't know, pioneer of being spiritual, yeah, I'm not trying to police nobody, but a lot of people with the whole like, who cares, just let people do their thing, have caused a lot of things to only be just a form of consumption and just like be very like a hollow thing, very superficial, surface level thing. Honestly, like, yeah, I'm gonna say it.
Some of y'all about to be real mad at me, but it must be said.
No, it's about time we start telling people like, okay, y'all need to stop taking everything and then just like having things lose its meaning and its roots just because you want to use it to express yourself. A lot of people in the West have this kind of mindset. It's just like, well, like, I'm just doing my own thing, like, why are you trying to police me? It's because it's a very like individualistic society. I am not from the West. I'm from, South Asia, and our culture is very much communal. And if you're questioning, oh, what does that have to do with this? A lot of spiritual practices that people do, knowingly, unknowingly, a lot of it comes from South Asia. So that's why I'm just saying, like, as a South Asian, I think I have a place to say a thing or two about this, because
there's nothing wrong with my views or beliefs because I have freedom of speech and everything I'm saying is true.
It's like, if you're not going to respect the root, history, and the meaning of the practice, you're not practicing that. You're just like making a completely new thing, which is fine, but call it what it is. Don't call it what it's not, right? So that's why I'm saying, like, you cannot individualize something that was never meant to be individualized, or you cannot turn something into like a form of consumption that was never meant to be consumed in such a manner. That's just my whole philosophy about like going into this. Let's get into the tweet that is inspiring this video. The tweet, it basically says, putting my husband on your manifestation board is pretty wild. And this person is an influencer, and I guess like they post their husband or whatever. Someone put her husband on their vision board on a TikTok, but the TikTok literally had like 4 to 5 other men who knows, who's probably like someone else's husband or boyfriend. Like, first of all, how is someone supposed to know that this random man on Pinterest got a whole family? Like, I don't care. I just need the content, and I'm just taking the content that's out there, that you put out there, and just using it how I wish to use it. Like, that's the whole point of influencing and creating content, is like, you can't expect people to like know you and care about who you are as a person because you're an like, that's not influencing. Is very much based on consuming. It's a very consumption based job. So for you to expect people to treat it as something more than that and deeper than that, you're just playing yourself, and you should not be an influencer if you do not come to terms with that. Again, that's just how it is. That's just how influencing works. Unfortunately, I'm not saying it's a good or a bad thing. Well, I think it's a bad thing, because I'm very much against overconsumption. It's just wild. Like, just being on TikTok and Instagram, like, that's all it is, and it's just it irks my soul, and it's very depressing. But at the end of the day, that's why corporations love these influencers. That's why these influencers call it a job in the first place, is because it's valued, because you're bringing in customers who will consume these products. That's why the corporations are paying y'all in the first place. You know what I mean? So you cannot expect something that is surface level and expect people to treat it as not. Also, again, like, how is someone supposed to know that this random person online is someone's mother, father, grandpa? Like, nobody's thinking about that. Like, think of like actors or models, for example, right? Like at the end of the day, it's their job to like deliver an image and a vision. That vision and image that they're delivering has nothing to do with who they are as a person, and that's their job. So like an actor being casted as a certain character, and then the partner of that actor is like, why is he playing someone else's husband when he's my husband? Like, do you see how ridiculous that sounds? So you gotta understand, like, if you're putting content out there, you cannot control how people use that content, unfortunately, but that's just how it works. If you don't understand that, you should not be influencing. But that's just the little rant that I have, because it's just wild to me for influencers getting mad over influencing other people. Like, why are you saying, oh, people copying me, this and that? Girl, that's what you're meant to do. Like, that isn't that what influencing is? Like, inspiring other people to like take something from you, from your content. Like, anyways, it's just crazy. But the main topic that I want to talk about is not on influencing. The whole like misunderstanding what manifestation is and how it works. And again, I'm not sitting here to be Dalai Lama, telling you, yes, I know like the 5 pillars of manifestation. Like,
girl, we're going to Islam.
I'm not here saying that, but I'm just saying like there are certain things that y'all should know if you're gonna be like acting all spiritual and manifesting all the time. You need to understand like it's not as easy as just like putting it down as a goal that you want to achieve. It's not as easy as like, as a desire or a wish. Manifestation is beyond that. And I'm saying that because I believe in manifestation. I'm a spiritual and religious person, so I really heavily believe in it. And I guess that's why I am putting my input into this. So let's get into this whole manifestation thing and how it has completely lost its meaning, and people just be throwing it around without really understanding how it works, especially when it comes to manifesting a person, if you believe in that. So people rightfully under that tweet is basically saying like, girl, they don't know that's your husband. Like, it's just a random man on Pinterest. You can't expect them, like, and nobody's manifesting him. They're creating a vision that they want. So your man is just an inspiration, which, by the way, you should be flattered because you have someone who people are getting inspired by. Like, they want someone like him, and you back that, right? So that should be something like with like you're flattered. So the fact that she's like taking this whole thing as like a personal attack is, but to each their own. In one of the replies, someone said, "Nah, manifestation is real. I'd be bugging if someone put my husband out of all the men." And someone replied, "If your man leaves you for some girl who had a pic of him on a corkboard, he'd probably also leave you for the left Twix. What's written for you couldn't possibly be made for someone else." And again, like, if you really, believe in manifestation and want to be spiritual, but you do not understand that concept, you don't understand it, period. Like, you should not be claiming to know and be doing something when you're not knowing or doing that thing. And then someone else said, "Tired of the spiritual girlies thinking otherwise. If your partner is a piece of shit, then that's all there is to it. Nobody's manifesting your partner away if they give a fuck about you." Did they lie?
Did I lie?
No, did they lie? So my whole point is, first of all, big agree. When it comes to manifesting people, it's not the same or easy as manifesting material or a physical thing that is not complex, like at all complex, like human beings. Because human beings, they have a mind of their own, they function completely differently than, again, material things, a job, a car, a house, right? So for y'all to treat manifesting someone as the same as someone manifesting, I don't know, for a certain situation to happen, for a certain, thing to get, then you just don't understand how manifestation works. Because lots of people just think of it as a freaking penny and you just throw it in the fountain and, okay, that's it, bye. That's not how it works. I'm gonna try to explain it, okay? Hopefully y'all see what I'm trying to say.
I have the mind of a master.
So, you're manifesting something, you're on one end. You're sending out a signal, and if it's meant to be, and if that person is in a place where they can take the signal and is able to connect to that signal, if they're in that place, it's gonna happen. Or whoever it is who's ready to take that is going to receive it, and they're gonna take it. And then there's a connection, right? Your manifestation worked because, them as a person, they were ready to take it. You can't manifest someone who is not on the receiving end waiting, right? Who is not in a place to be receiving that signal. So if a man is taken, right, he's with someone, They are connected, they're on the same wavelength, they're sharing something, right? Y'all are together for a reason. And if y'all are really like this and real, and if you're really spiritual, then you two should be connected. So he should not be able, like, he should not be on the other end waiting to receive the signal. So if your person is not out there waiting or wanting something like that to happen, it's not gonna happen. So just like those replies said, like, if your man is really invested in you and y'all are invested in each other, like, nobody can manifest that away. Now, can someone bring something between y'all by doing black magic? Probably.
Escucha las palabras de las brujas, los secretos escondidos en la noche.
But doing vision boards and all that thing, that's not black magic. Anyways, and then manifesting someone like your man is not manifesting your man. Because again, it just wouldn't work. That's not how it works. At least from how I see it. I do not think you can manifest someone who is not there. Like, then it's just like, then it's not good for you, in my opinion. If you are manifesting something that is not ready to accept and take and connect with what you are manifesting, then that's not healthy. Because they're not ready for what you are wanting. I do not think manifestation can happen, especially between like two people, if both parties are not in a place where they can accept it. Similarly, if you manifest something, right, and deep down, or your spirit deep down is not ready for it yet, it's not gonna come your way. So if your man is committed to you, he's not out there waiting ready for something to happen. He's with you, girl. Like, that's all you should think about, and that's all he should think about. If someone ends up manifesting your man by putting him on a fucking vision board, that's not how it works. So you losing your mind over that is silly, very silly. But yeah, like, a lot of like these spiritual girlies, like, they do not understand the full concept or how it works. A lot of times it's not about really being spiritual and really being in tune with yourself and your surroundings and being aware of your presence in a given place, right? A lot of the times it's really just about themselves. And if your spirituality is only about you, that is not you being spiritual. That's you being conceited. That's you just caring about yourself.
Yup.
Being spiritual means you like caring and being present for people and things that goes beyond their physical state and form. And that's why it's such a beautiful thing, because it's really easy to accept something and interact with something that's there physically, right? But if it's something that you cannot grasp, if it's not something that's tangible, I guess, you have to put in a lot of work, and you really have to be a lot more aware and look at things and reflect to really be in tune with those spiritual things. And a big part of spirituality is also like reflecting. If you're spiritual, your reflections should not be about you. What am I doing? What can I do? What are other people thinking about me? Like, that's not a healthy way of reflecting, in my opinion. Like, if you really care about spirituality and being in tune with your surrounding and respecting spaces and other people and their spirits and their souls and their mind, your reflections should be more about you finding your space in those situations, or you finding your space in the world and finding that place where you are able to respect yourself and your being, and also respect those around you. And not only respect, not necessarily even respect, is just like being in tune and aware of things around you and how you being present in a certain place or time and how you are affecting that kind of situation. So if you're not aware of all these things, you are not really being spiritual. Spirituality is not, oh, I got some crystals and I do tarot reading and I got a Om tattoo on me and I culturally appropriate South Asian aesthetics or whatever. That's not being spiritual. There's a lot more to that, and spirituality again is not about yourself, in my opinion. It's just my opinion, but I do not think you can be spiritual if your focus is only yourself. Of course, a big part of spirituality is bettering yourself, but like, if it's only about you and you're only reflecting about you and how you feel, what you thought and what happened to you, then who are you bettering for? Then you are not putting yourself out there to be received and to make affect other people. Then you're just bettering yourself for yourself. But yeah, I mean, that's good, that's great. Everybody should be able to reflect on themselves and then have a perception of themselves and know themselves. That's great. You can't be spiritual if all you care about is how you're perceived and how you go on about things. You have to also be very aware of how you affect other things, how you're affecting other people's presence, how your presence being taken. If you're really reflecting on how your presence is affecting other people, you need to be aware of those other people and you need to consider those other people and other things around you, or else your reflections just don't mean anything in the world other than to yourself. Now, if that's all you care about, then go ahead, do that, But me personally, I do not think that's being spiritual. I just think that's just either being super self-aware or being conceited. Because if you cannot connect with things and people on a spiritual level, on a place beyond their physical being, then you're not spiritual. Don't get mad at me, but that's just my opinion. So hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on how I think spirituality and being spiritual is kind of losing its meaning. And again, not claiming to be the spokesperson on spirituality, but I did grow up, with a strong faith. I went through a whole, you go through your downtime, you go through things and you really learn to reflect. As someone who struggles with their mental health, I had a big dip in senior year of high school. It was really bad. And then when I finally came out of that dark place, you really start looking at things differently and you really start putting a lot more value to things and looking things beyond what it is and being unapologetic about it. Because oftentimes people make it seem like caring or being sensitive to things is a bad thing, and that's how I felt all throughout my life basically. But after really doing a lot of reflection and just a lot of work basically on myself, learning where I belong in the world, because a big part of struggling with your mental health is a feeling of isolation, alienation, and not knowing where your place is in the world that you're in, right? That's why so many people, a big part of it is just feeling worthless and not wanting to be the place that you're in. So I had to do a lot of work to make sure that I knew the place I was in, how I'm connected to it, how I can connect to it, and again, finding my place in spaces and with people. That's why I'm saying why I'm giving my take on this is because I personally think it's a very important thing, and I think you start living life differently once you do have that kind of, revelation. But you can't have that kind of revelation if it's not truly stemming from within you, and if you're only doing it for the sake of just saying that you're spiritual or being perceived as being spiritual, then you're just a phony at the end of the day. No offense. No, actually, full offense at that.
Before, I was going to keep it to myself. They actually...
I hate it when people say something that's meant to be obviously offensive and they're no offense. No, full offense. But you're basically a phony if you're claiming to be something and your actions and your presence in the world is not reflecting that. That's why spirituality and your inner faith and your self-image and your presence in the world, all of those things, all those ideas and concepts mean a lot to me, and I know the weight it holds. And again, these are very important things, and I do not think they should lose its meaning. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully I did not come out as patronizing or looking down on people. I am a very passionate person, and I have my own set of the way I navigate the world, the way I see things, the way I feel about things. So sometimes that can come off as me dismissing other people and whatnot, but really it's not about that. I don't think you can be passionate about things if you really do not consider every angle of that said thing. Again, I'm always curious about what people have to say. Now, there's a difference between hearing things out and respecting that, this kind of thought and this kind of concept exists. Now, do I necessarily have to agree with it and think it's good or a smart thing? No. But I respect it, and I respect its existence, and I acknowledge its existence, and I'll try to understand its existence. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I like that existence or I have to agree with it. I do not have the right. Nobody really has the right to say this is right, this is wrong. But you know, there are certain things out in the world where it's like, but no, like morally as a person, if you think about it, actually this thing is actually better than that thing, right? Basically, don't want to be rude and don't want to be like, oh, your opinion should not exist. You should not put your opinion out there. You should not challenge this or that. Like, even if it may sound dumb, which a lot of times, yes, people say a lot of dumb shit, I'm still open to listen to it because, again, it's another angle to a thing that I am interested in, that I'm passionate about. And the only thing that it can help when you are listening and, like opening yourself to all these angles is just you gaining more knowledge. Sometimes do you lose some brain cells in the process? Yes. And sometimes do you feel like you're on your last straw? Yes. But at the end of the day, knowledge is power, baby. There's a difference between being stubborn and arrogant about what you believe in versus having like a strong morals and, perception of things and, way of navigating life. And a big part of that is always learning and growing and changing. Hopefully that makes sense. But that is not to say that I do not have a strong, passionate way of looking at things. So if you say something dumb, I will hear you out, but I will make a face and I'll be like, thank you for telling me that, because it just gave me a more better perspective. But that was dumb. But that's for another time. I'm sorry. I'm like going on a tangent, but thank you so much for watching this video. The quality is so bad, but treat it like a little podcast. Let me know your thoughts. Please be nice to me. Like I said, I struggle mentally, so please be nice to me. Thank you. Okay, bye.